Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Don from 1A Auto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And the next time you need a part for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we show you how to replace the water pump on this 2005 Cadillac CTS with the 2.8 liter V6. And the items you need for this is a new water pump from 1AAuto.com, a pair of pliers, a flat blade screwdriver, 10mm socket and ratchet, a 1/2-inch ratchet, a drip pan, emery cloth, a funnel, coolant, a torque wrench, and jack and jack stands. Start off by removing your coolant reservoir cap. Next, you want to raise your vehicle, and then you want to remove these 8 clips that hold in this panel here. Now we use wire cutters, but don't actually cut the clips, and you just want to pull out the center, and then they pull out. And we'll fast forward as Don does the others. Next, you want to remove these 6 clips here. For these ones, you just want to use a flat blade screwdriver, pry out the center, and then you want to pull it out. We use some pliers to help pull those out. And we'll just fast forward as Don removes the other 5. Once those clips are out, just remove that panel. Put a drip pan underneath the lower radiator hose and push the teeth on the hose clamp together with a pair of pliers and let the coolant drain out. And you can hold it like this until it drains, or you can slide the clamp back and pull the hose off and let it drain right into the drip pan. Once that's finished, remove your oil cap and pull that engine cover off. Now disconnect this hose from your air intake box and loosen up this hose clamp here and this hose clamp down here. And you can see, just use a flat blade screwdriver to loosen those up. And then the air intake box pulls up and off. Using a 1/2-inch ratchet, you just want to put it into that square there and push down, and that will release the slack on the belt. And then you want to pull that belt off the pulleys and slowly let up on that ratchet. And then you have to tuck the belt behind the tensioner to get it out. Right here is your water pump, and on the pulley you'll see there's 4 bolts. These are 10mm, just go ahead and remove them.
And maybe a helpful tip, loosen those bolts before you take the serpentine belt off.
Pulley will pull right off. Now, using the new water pump as a reference, you can see there's 6 bolts that hold the pump in. And we can show you some of them on the old water pump. You can see there's 2 right there. They go all the way up and around. And these are 10mm. Just go ahead and remove each of those. When you pull your water pump out, there will be coolant trap behind there, so make sure you have your drip pan in place. Then remove the gasket for the water pump. Use an emery cloth to just clean up where the gasket went. Old water pump on the right, new one from 1A Auto on the left. You can see they're identical and will mount up exactly the same. Take your new water pump and put the gasket into place and feed the water pump down into place. And just twist those bolts in by hand to get it held on there. And we'll just fast forward as he replaces the other 5 bolts and tightens all of those up. Now go around and tighten each of those 6 bolts to 11 foot-pounds, and then go around again, tightening each of them to 22 foot-pounds. Now put your pulley back into place and replace those 4 bolts. And we'll just fast forward as Don does this. Here is a belt diagram for this car, and you just want to use this as a reference when you go to put your belt back on. It's hard to show what we're doing here, so just use this picture. And you want to start off by just feeding it down and under that crank and fitting it up behind the tensioner pulley and then over the actual pulley. And then using that 1/2-inch ratchet, you want to push down on the tensioner. And that will allow you to put your belt back up over the water pump. And then carefully let up and remove that ratchet. And now torque the pulley bolts on your water pump to 11 foot-pounds. Next, put that intake box back into place and reattach those hoses. And then just tighten up those hose clamps. Replace that hose into the intake. Now you want to line up these holes with these pins and the pin on your engine cover with the hole on the engine. So remove your oil cap, push this down into place, and replace your oil cap. Now replace that panel and replace those 6 clips along the front. Just push them in with the center still popped up and push the center in to lock them. And then replace those other 8 clips. Now fill your coolant reservoir bottle up to the max fill line. Now replace the cap and start the vehicle and let the coolant run through the engine.
And on these Cadillacs, it's known that it's a little tough to get the air out of the coolant. So you're going to want to run the engine a little bit. Make sure your heat starts working. If your heat doesn't start working, that's a sign that the coolant is not flowing. So run your engine, check the coolant level often. And it actually did take up to about an hour to an hour and a half to work the air out of the system in this vehicle. We hope this video helps you out. Brought to you by oneaauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free, 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.